Well, Tottenham's lean, mean machine have been shedding pounds rather than points under Juan de Ramos and his new fitness and diet regime, and it seems to be paying off. Only 2 defeats in 13 since the Spaniard took over, but a lively start to the game from Reading. And eventually Tottenham clear. Aaron Lennon back in by Ingi Marsson. And a scrappy start. Finally, Lee Young-pyo can surge forward for Spurs. It's a foul by Steve Hunt.
It'll be a good contest down that side of the pitch there. Stephen Hunt naturally left-footed but playing on the right side. I'll try and back Lee up, make sure that he doesn't make too much of that kind of run down the left. Got an early chance here for Spurs to put the ball in the box.
Well, Tom Huddleston, who got 2 against Fulham, is one of the players who slimmed down under Juan de Ramos. He'll look to create one early here. It's over Murty's head, but away by Kitson. Back out to Huddleston again.
Berbatov looking for it inside left channel. Lennon didn't come in from the right-hand side, but you do get the impression here this afternoon that Reading are going to have to be at their very best to get anything. Signs that things are starting to come together now under Juan de Ramos. They have their skipper back, their leader. They're on their home patch, and they're going to take quite a bit of beating here this afternoon, I would think.
There's still a few to come back, notably defenders Asu Ikoto, Bale, Rocha, Gardner are all out injured. So it was a relief when that fitness test to this man on the ball, Ledley King, came through positive. Here's Berbatov. And Robbie Keane scored in both games against Reading last season from the penalty spot. This is Lee Young-pyo. Ironic cries of shoot, and it wasn't a bad effort from a player who hasn't scored in 85 Tottenham appearances, but he tested Hahnemann.
Yeah, I had to get down, had to make sure his body was behind it, Hahnemann, because it moved quite a bit left to right here. It was a good bit of cut spin on it, and that's a decent stop.
First real threat of the game. Here's Doyle at the other end, dispossessed by Lee, whose shot it was a few moments ago. Keane. Pass was misplaced. It's not a great amount of history between these two sides. It's only their 3rd meeting since 1930. Home sides won both the meetings last season. Tottenham 1-0 here, thanks to Keane's penalty, and then Reading 3-1 at the Medeski. This is Kabul. Block was by Kitson. He'll be looking to add to his 6 goals this season. Kitson, he's Reading's top scorer. He was on target against West Ham.
I might feel he's playing against Ledley King at the right time. Ledley King must need more games. Can't possibly be right up to match fitness at the moment. So if there is any rust at all, Kitson and Doyle will want to take something out of that.
They lasted 73 minutes against Fulham before being withdrawn. King still felt his thigh a little bit, but here's Malbranque. Keane jabbing it forward. It's a poor touch by Bobby Convey to put Reading back under pressure. Malbranque trying to squeeze it through to Lennon. Well, Kitson's done well here, and Convey trying to set Doyle on his way, but Kabul, whose recent form has really dispelled any fears that he was struggling to settle in at Tottenham. Didn't have the best of starts, but certainly recently has done pretty well.
Both he and Ledley King are going to have their hands full, because Reading are going to keep 2 up front for the entire match. It's not a case of one dropping off, they're both right up front.
Kitson and Doyle have 11 goals between them. Doyle had a terrific season last time around, scoring 13 in the Premier League, a season of course in which Kitson suffered with injuries. Here's Keane, has a possible break on with Malbranque ahead of him. This is Steve Malbranque, tried to cut it back for Keane, when I think some of the fans at the Park Lane end of White Hart Lane might have expected a shot. This is King. Kabul to Chimbonda. Lennon. Jermaine Genius, back after 2 games out, finds Lee Young-pyo. Patient build-up by Spurs. Genius down the line to Berbatov. Tried to trick his way through, but Murty cleared. This is Doyle. Huddleston certainly does look leaner. One of the players was told that he didn't lose a bit of weight. He'd struggled to get in the side, but he's taken his chance. This is away by Convey, but not that convincingly. It's Pascal Chimbonda for Spurs. Berbatov acrobatically. No problem for the American goalkeeper.
Promising start from Spurs. So much variation about their play, already making the pitch as wide as they possibly can. And a real feeling of anticipation on the ground here. They're on their way up again.
Yeah, you're right, Davey. There is a buzz around White Hart Lane, which has been sadly lacking for much of the season so far. Chimbonda into Malbranc. Lennon to his right. Keane is onside. Berbatov! Simple tap in, and Tottenham Hotspur take the lead inside 6 minutes.
Well, actually, the front pairing. Tom was telepathic, that understanding now, isn't it? Robbie Keane actually wanted the ball a little bit earlier than he got it. I think it's worry here that he's running offside. He runs off Inga Marston, but Sonko is deep enough to play him on it. Well, very tight decision. Gets the benefit of the flag staying down. Berbatov asks no questions at all. He's already on his way. And Robbie Keane, without time to look up, just slides it into the perfect area, hoping his strike partner's making the back post run. And he certainly obliged, did he not?
Dimitar Berbatov's 3rd goal in 4 Premier League games. He won't get an easier one, but it was another sign of a partnership which is really beginning to flourish. Didn't get amongst the 5 against Fulham on Boxing Day, but Berbatov on hand, and Reading's dismal away form looks set to continue unless they can get back. But at the moment there's only one team in it, it's Tottenham Hotspur, and the goal scorer Berbatov has the ball, although there is a player down injured. And it's Genius, so Tottenham will be a little bit worried.
There's a full stretch here, Jermaine Genius. I'll tell you what, Cisse comes in late there. I don't know what kind of angle the referee had in that. Producing a yellow.
So Khalifa Cisse getting the early booking. Jermaine Genius, thankfully for Spurs, is okay. There's Chimbonda. Spurs rampant at the moment. It deflects kindly into the path of Berbatov. He scored one. Can he create now? Not while Ingi Marston's around. Through toe poke into touch.
Oh, this time it was Berbatov making the run from out into the wide area while Keane was central. It's a terrific partnership. Centre-backs really don't know which of the two is going to go short, which of the two is going to go wide. Such a productive pairing at the moment.
The Spurs have won 3 of their last 4 games in all competitions. The only defeat in that little run came against arch-rivals Arsenal, of course. There aren't too many who come away from the Emirates with anything. Here's Lee. Tottenham's problem this season has been hanging on to winning positions. They've dropped 19 points from situations where they've led this season, which is something that one day Ramos will have been only too aware of when he took over. Ball's been kept in, the flick towards Convey. Neither side able to get hold of the ball for any length of time at the moment, but here's Berbatov, whose control is wonderful, but on that occasion he can only succeed in running it out of play. But he's always going to give you a different option, the Bulgarian.
Well, he does either. He's quite happy to go short, and his feet are good enough that it usually sticks, and he has the pace to go in behind if it's knocked over the top, so either or suits him.
Goal took his tally in all competitions to 8. Berbatov, he's been prolific in the UEFA Cup, but is beginning to score goals regularly in the Premier League too now. Robinson, who's scarcely had a touch of the ball. Will line up the clearance. Clean sheets have also been a problem for Tottenham. Robinson only 5 in the last 45 games. Keane with a clever little flick towards Lennon, almost broke. This is Lee. Keane. Huddleston's ball towards Berbatov, headed away by Ingi Marson. Keane's got a cross ahead of Kevin Doyle. It was a nice game to come back in for Ledley King, a home romp against London rivals Fulham. This is Cisse in towards Kitson. It's bounced unkindly for Reading. Here's Chimbonda. There's an overlap from Lennon. Keane and Berbatov in forward positions as you'd expect. This is Ginas. Huddleston's got Lee to his left-hand side. Malbranc. It's a nice reverse pass into the path of Keane again. This time he is offside though.
Well, again, he's right on the edge of offside, and that's where he's been playing since the start of the game here. Makes a flat run across the face. Well, as it's played, yeah, I think both Shorey and Inge Marson get up just in time. He's certainly a yard off.
Huge kick by Hahnemann. Header away was by Kabul. Shorey with the hoof upfield. He was one of the scorers when Reading won against Tottenham at the Medeski. A significant win for them. Almost announced their arrival in the Premier League as a genuine force when so many had written them off as relegation certs. There's nothing like that, of course. And this season suggests that once again they're not likely to be amongst the shake-up at the wrong end come May. Here's Steve Hunt. Oh, it was a clever attempt at a ball inside to deceive King, but it was too far ahead of Kevin Doyle.
Yeah, they want to get Stephen Hunt further up the pitch where he does his best work. He's the obvious out ball for them.
Chimbonda's flick goes straight to Harper. This is Convey. Sure, he's put it straight out. Well, White Hart Lane has a reputation for being the place to come for goals. And it hasn't let us down. Early in the game, Berbatov strike. 42nd goal to be scored on this ground in the Premier League this season. Berbatov's high there. It'll be a Reading free kick.
It's certainly high. Surprised they felt the need to contest that on the halfway line. Right to the top of his game at the moment, Berbatov. The worry here for the Spurs fans, no doubt, is that they might lose him.
Well, there was much talk of possibility of him moving on, but he does appear committed to the cause. Certainly his performances would suggest that. Robinson will have to come. Punches. Cisse! Returning to the Reading side and scoring to level with their first effort of the game on 15 minutes. Poor play by the keeper.
Paul Robinson not happy, but once he makes up his mind, he's fully committed to this. He has to get a fist onto it. He's coming into a lot of traffic in front of him. Well, he gets very little, if anything, at all. He doesn't get it wide. He knocks it straight into the central area. I have to say, it's a terrific finish. It's a difficult finish. And what a good job Cisse made of it. But Paul Robinson, I think, well, he's not happy at Cabral. It's Cabral who headed it down and then headed it straight to the midfielder.
It's Khalifa Cisse's first goal for Reading. It's the only change that Steve Coppola's made to his lineup in 8 games. Gunnarsson suspended, Cisse in, and he's provided an equaliser, which it has to be said is against the run of play. But it also has to be said was something of a gift, although the volley was a good one. Here's Malbranc. Tottenham looking to get themselves back in front. It's quiet in the crowd at White Hart Lane, that's for sure. Yet again, Tottenham are unable to keep a clean sheet. Here's Lee. Huddleston. And Reading fans are in good voice now. Marson just getting there ahead of Robbie Keane. Robinson under pressure again. He's got reasonable distance on that kick. Here's Genus. Kitson stooping in. Murty's telling Hunt to make tracks down the right-hand side, which he has done. Cross deflects. Robinson had to just flap it over the bar.
That made a good job of it, Paul Robinson. It was hardly one he could catch. A real awkward one. Took a deflection on the way in here from Stephen Hunt. Takes a nick off Lee, and Robinson did well to get it behind.
Well, how will he deal with this one? His decision to come and punch cost him dear a couple of moments ago. Well, we did say there could be goals in this game. One apiece so far. Trying to find Malbranc. In the end, it's easy for the Spurs keeper.
Pretty torrid start though for the Paul Robinson. Anytime the ball has come into the box, Kitson and Doyle have been all over him.
And here's Stephen Hunt. Reading find themselves rejuvenated. This is Shorey. Doyle.
Just in a little bit too early there, Bobby Convey. Certainly the right idea to become another striker when the ball's on the right-hand side. Tuck in, get himself into the back post, and a good spell here for Reading.
Genus has won it back for Spurs, though. Here's Lennon. Trying to apply some trickery, drifting in from the right-hand side. He's found Keane. Oh, and that almost got through to Berbatov. It was another example of great vision. Two strikers on the same wavelength there, but it was intercepted by Ingimarsson. Here's Malbranc. Lennon's cross on the left-hand side now. Malbranc. Huddleston with a bit of space. Shoot, they cry, and well they might after the Boxing Day double from Huddleston, but that one comes to nothing. Shorey for Reading. Handball is given against Robbie Keane.
Well, he reckoned not. Very often the player's reaction tells the real story. Reckoned it was off his chest. Upward one for him, the ball on the up as it came to him. Tough call for the referee, you'd have to say. He probably got it right. I wonder if Paul Robinson will come for this if they put it on the penalty spot.
That may well be in Nicky Shorey's mind as he fires the ball in. It's towards the edge of the box. This is Shorey again with some neat control. Huddleston to try and launch another attack for Spurs. He's looking for Berbatov. Murty's in the way. Here's Lee. Had 20 minutes at White Hart Lane. Tottenham ahead through Dimitar. Berbatov's tap in. The lead only lasted 9 minutes before Khalifa Cisse volleyed an equaliser. Here's Ingimarsson finding Convey. Kitson. Harper over the top for Doyle to chase. He's got King and Chimbonda for company. That was excellent defending by Ledley King. Ball finds Malbranc. This is Huddleston. Berbatov. Lee's out wide if he wants him. This is the Korean now. Ginas. Berbatov. Ginas again. He's looking for Keane. Kahneman got there.
Don't think he had an angle to find Robbie Keane. Very similar move to the one that led to the first goal. And as they get Ginas in behind here, look at Robbie Keane in behind Ingemarson on the far side. He just didn't have the angle to find them.
He swirled it in towards the goalkeeper, which made it easy for him.
That's okay.
Keane to Berbatov again. Lennon's in a forward position. Berbatov will try and find him. Lennon may well have the pace to get there first ahead of Murty, and he does. Suddenly Murty's on the back foot. Lennon's ball in.
Nobody coming round the back. Aaron Lennon had made the run from that side. And what a bit of pace to win the ball from Murty in the first place. Dumps it in at the back post. Hoping there's somebody coming round the back.
Berbatov hooks it forward to Keane, just shields it away from Ingimarsson. Berbatov again. Huddleston wants it played square. Keane obliges. Chimbonda's over on the far side in some space. Convey just coming across now. Huddleston. Lee joins the attack. Malbranc. Chimbonda's still out wide. Just scoop it across towards Keane. It's good play by Younes Kabul. Decent one too. Couldn't quite keep it in.
Should have tried to find Robbie Keane. Lost of blood there by the centre-back.
It's the 13th Premier League game in a row that he started, given the number of injuries that Tottenham have had amongst their rear guard. He's the one player who's managed to stay fit through it all. Michael Dawson, incidentally, has had hospital tests on a series of migraines that have kept him out for the last few games. This is Lee. Huddleston. Kabul again. Now Genus. And towards Berbatov and Keane. They kind of left it for each other. There was a scream for handball there, but the referee said no. Here's Kitson for Reading. It's a good ball out to Doyle. Comby's the only man in the box, but Hunt is arriving now. And he's won a corner off the back of Ledley King.
Yeah, didn't want to take on his right foot there. Stephen Hunt just tried to dink in with the outside of his left. Good break by Reading. They do get forward very quickly in support of the front two.
Well, Hunt is a left-sided player who has been playing on the right in recent weeks. Corner will be taken by James Harper. Berbatov away. A Reading throw down by the corner flag. Chance for them to keep the pressure up. Murty's throw. King up ahead of Kitson. This is Cisse. And now Shorey, who can deliver well with that left foot. Short one to Harper though. Looking for support at the moment. There's not much of it, but ball has finally found Kitson, and now Doyle changes direction. That was an ambitious effort.
Smothered the shot, but very good patient build-up from Reading. Front two are doing ever so well for them, and you can see Stevie Coppell's thinking here, their willingness to come and play two up front. So often teams who go five across the middle with one up struggle to get out, but Doyle and Kitson give them two out balls.
Kitson's been doing most of the scoring recently in terms of the partnership. Doyle only has one in the last 7. Leroy Lita, incidentally, is among the substitutes for Reading today. And there is talk of him moving on in January as well. Berbatov, incidentally, is momentarily off the field receiving treatment as Tottenham have the ball with Malbranc, but Berbatov is ambling back on the far side. Here's Huddleston. King. Lee. Foul by Kevin Doyle.
Not a difficult decision for the referee. Nice angle here for Spurs to throw one in onto the penalty spot. Reading just trying to hold the 18-yard line as their starting position, but they will end up just about on top of Hanneman by the time this arrives in the box.
Well, Kabul has gone up for this one. Ledley King is there too, both tall men. Huddleston. Stephen Hunt's been in decent goal-scoring form recently with 3 in the last 4. Berbatov has got on the end of Robinson's long clearance, but once again, in a tight situation, he couldn't quite control it. One each at the half-hour mark, then at White Hart Lane. There's no flag, and Inge Marson needed to make the interception because Keane was poised just behind him.
Yeah, Keane was certainly onside. Berbatov inactive, not taking part. Nightmare for defenders this lot at times.
There's Kitson for Reading looking to spring a counter. Kabul will get there before Doyle though. Certainly looks a man playing with a lot more confidence under Juan de Ramos. Yunus Kabul. Chimbonda. Up jumps Convey. This is Malbranc. Quick feet and a nice ball out, paving the way possibly for Lee to get down the left-hand side. Offside against Robbie Keane.
Well, he reckons not. There's only Keane and Lennon forward there for Lee. Berbatov trying to make up ground from deep.
Guy Beale, the assistant referee on the far side, has raised the flag several times now against Tottenham's top scorer. Crucially though, he didn't when Keane supplied the cross for Berbatov to tap Spurs in front. Here is Berbatov. Shanko getting ahead of Keane and looking it up towards Doyle. Cushioned header for Kitson. This is Hunt. Confident play by Lee, and then a lovely ball by Malbranc to pick out Berbatov. Keane. Cisse. And Shorey for Reading. Convey's up ahead of him. This is Doyle. Harper. Hunt is very, very good at controlling difficult balls like that. It's a swirling cross, headed away by Kabul, only as far as Doyle. Chimbonda across, corner.
It's letting it the best. Early ball from Stephen Hunt, not trying to pick anybody out, just threw it into the back post area. On that occasion, Kabul did better, got it wide.
After a torrid opening 10 minutes, Reading are holding their own at the moment. Harper's corner. Hit down by Ingimarsson, half cleared by King. What's he given there? I think it's a free kick just outside.
It must have been a very tight call. If it's on the line, it counts as inside. Ledley King at full stretch. Certainly a free kick. Well, just about on the line, which would have counted as inside. But either way, a real opportunity here for Reading.
Yeah, big call for Keith Stroud. It has offered Reading a real opportunity. To their credit, there were no wild penalty appeals from the players. The wall is not back 10 yards by any means in front of Paul Robinson. Hunt, Convey and Shorey are all standing over the ball. It's a real opportunity for Reading to get their noses in front 12 minutes before half-time. It's Shorey! It's just too high. Well, he scored at the Madejski 3-1 win against Spurs last season, and he was confident there.
Just hard when you're that close to get it up and back down again. Paul Robinson was always second-guessing him anyway. He's on his way across his goal.
And there's a crescendo of Spurs support ringing out now. Just wonder whether there's a bit of frustration, desperate to lift their side. They made such a good start. It hasn't gone their own way since then. Huddleston's taken a knock. It's only his third start in the last 14 games, but he announced himself as a real contender to start the side with those goals against Fulham. Here's Keane. It would have taken an unbelievable strike to beat Harneman from there.
Nothing else on for him. No other white jersey arriving in the box. I think eventually it's Genius who arrives in the box. But Keane's got nothing else on but to take on the shot.
15 goals this season, 10 of them in the Premier League for Robbie Keane, who of course joined a select group with the first goal against Fulham. 100 Premier League goals, only the 13th player to reach that landmark. Could reach another today, actually, Keane, if he gets 2 today. That would be 100 goals for Spurs. Here's Doyle. He's kept possession, Kevin Doyle, somehow. And then along came Malbranque. Quickly taken throw. Graham Murty. Malbranque again in the way. 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Dave Kitson just loitering at that back post area. If you get half a yard to it, I'm sure Reading will throw in. Kitson will fancy his chances jumping against Chimponda.
Here's Kevin Doyle. Harper. It's a teasing ball in. Huddleston did well. And now Berbatov, whose attacking instincts see him drive forward, trying to find Keane. It might break for Aaron Lennon. Lennon to Robbie Keane, driven a little wider than he'd like, but he's cut it back in towards Berbatov. Berbatov blocked. Corner kick.
Did well there, Nicky Shorey. He was caught 2 against 1 there. Robbie Keane just broke into the wide area. But Shorey did well. Gave Lennon no angle to find him. Had to send him wider than he wanted.
Well, there's a slight appeal for handball there, but it's a corner. Ginas takes it, headed away by Kitson. Huddleston's gone all the way back to Paul Robinson. Murty's header will drop for Tom Huddleston. Just brushes Hunt aside. Here's Lennon. Couldn't quite get it into his stride, but Shorey's still got defending to do. And that was probably the right thing to do with a man of Aaron Lennon's pace breathing down your neck. Here's Huddleston for Spurs. Can either side take the interval lead? Ball. Keane. Lay off to Malbranque. Looking to take on Graham Murty. Still Malbranque. Murty's done well. The Frenchman wriggling away until Hunt nipped in. Wonderful piece of skill by Kitson in a really tight situation. The ball's glued to the touchline at the moment. But here's Lee for Spurs as it finally becomes unstuck. Berbatov. Oh, Keane arrived rather late and Ingi Marsson was there to sweep up.
I don't know how Berbatov is supposed to find Robbie Keane there. He's getting a bit of an earful from Keane, but no real angle to find him. Did really well to get Berbatov in behind in the first place.
Here's Kabul. Lennon. Ginas forward to Keane. Tried to find Berbatov. Might get a second chance. This is Steed Malbranque. There's a lazy ball into the box that Kahneman saw all the way.
I think that's what Berbatov is telling him. It's a slack crossing. A good set-up play previous to that from Berbatov. They did well to get him in behind. But Robbie Keane, Berbatov is hoping Robbie Keane makes that run to the front post. Just couldn't quite make up the ground.
Free kick has gone Tottenham Hotspur's way. 5 minutes remain of the opening half. Two sides who have real trouble keeping clean sheets. Unpredictably have both conceded. There'll be one thing which won't have pleased Juan de Ramos in his attempt to produce a real renaissance at this football club. Reading certainly not rolling over like Fulham did on Boxing Day. Here's Berbatov. Well, there's a free kick there, awarded for the foul on Khalifa Cisse, Reading's goal scorer.
It's Berbatov who's in high. Awkward tight. Like this Genius, he's entitled to go and try and contest it.
Jermaine Genius runs the risk, if he's booked today, of missing the FA Cup tie, which ironically these two sides will contest on this ground a week from today. Tottenham have a run of 8 games in the next 33 days. Aston Villa coming up next in the Premier League, and then of course they play Arsenal in the Carling Cup semi-final. Another huge North London derby showdown. Flag has gone up against Lennon, and of course Tottenham march on in the UEFA Cup, so could be a case of crisis. What crisis, with so many problems it seemed for the club. But they've got the FA Cup, they've got the UEFA Cup, they've got the Carling Cup semi-finals. Things could be worse, I guess. What they need, though, is 3 league points today to start heading in the right direction, get themselves back into European contention for next season. Berbatov's nudge, Kabul. He's run into trouble there, but got away with it. This is King. Oh, it's casual from Chimbonda. And here's Convey for Reading. Still it's Bobby Convey.
Well, Kitson's looking for the pass. Kitson's unmarked here if Convey got his head up.
A player who almost went to Spurs in 2003, Bobby Convey, but there was a problem with the work permit at the time, and he ended up at Reading. Almost got his first Premier League goal against Spurs then. But here's Lennon as we approach half-time. Cross towards Keane. He's quick enough to get there, and he's got support from Malbranc, perhaps. Keane to the byline.
Just didn't get his foot round it. Lennon front post, Berbatov back. But Spurs, having made such a bright start, just lost their way a little bit at the moment. You can't afford to give the ball away in these areas as cheaply as they did here. Kitson's peeled off, he's looking for a square pass, and Convey doesn't get his head up. Slack from Chimbonda in the first place. Kabul comes across, Convey works it onto his right side, and had he spotted Kitson, Reading would have had a good chance there.
Here's Doyle. He's just got there ahead of Lee. Lee finally away. Kahneman's come a long way. Too much top this time, I don't think. Berbatov beaten by Sonko. Here's Malbranc. Interesting square of him. Chimbonda across on the far right side. It's Genius. Spurs getting nowhere fast at the moment.
Oh, it's tough for them, very little space. Reading 2 solid banks of 4.
Here's Kabul. Down the line for Berbatov. Ingimarsson across. Oh, he's lost it. Now there's a chance for Tottenham. Keane's in the middle. Oh, and Berbatov almost repaid the compliment. It would have been a carbon copy with the roles reversed of the opening goal, but Keane couldn't get that.
No, I couldn't quite make up the yardage here, Robbie Keane. Had he thrown his left foot at it, I wonder if at the bottom another half second of time here. Tries to finish with his right, and it slips away. Terrific set-up play from Berbatov. Ingemarson reckoned he was pushed there, but he slides it into the perfect area. Just surprised that Robbie Keane didn't allow it to go across his body.
There were oohs and ahs as the Tottenham fans watched that one again on the big screen. They know how close they were in the final minute of the first half to regaining their lead. Maybe time for just one big punt upfield from Paul Robinson. Half-time at White Hart Lane. We expected goals here and we got a couple. Dimitar Berbatov tap in after just 6 minutes to put Tottenham Hotspur in front after good work by Robbie Keane, but Khalifa Cisse in the side for the suspended Brynjar Gunnarsson with a volley after a weak punch by Paul Robinson, putting Reading level. Since then it's been pretty even between these two teams. Reading looking for their first away win of the season, will be encouraged by the situation at half-time. Spurs, who thrashed Fulham here on Boxing Day, perhaps less so. It's Tottenham Hotspur. Well, Reading will start the second half feeling that 1-1 would be a better result, I'm sure, than Tottenham Hotspur would feel about that. Tottenham started the first half like a train, but let's see how it pans out in the second.
Yeah, I think Wander Ramos would have been glad to get them in at half-time because his team lost their way at the back end of the first half. And it might be one of those afternoons where his side are going to have to grind it out.
Steve Coppell taking his seat in the dugout, having watched from the stand in the opening half. I think he'll be quite pleased. Difficult away game for a side short on form on the road. Conceding an early goal may well have led to him and Reading fans fearing the worst, but at the moment parity is a good result as Stephen Hunt is caught offside from the flick by...
Once again Doyle wins it superbly well. Hunt had certainly gone early, but the two strikers, both Doyle and Kitson, have done this all day. Little glances on, and it means that Reading have a long diagonal on either side of the pitch with the two big fellas up front.
Here's Berbatov. Finally knocked away from him by Harper, and it's a ball which may release Kevin Doyle. It's a free kick to Reading.
Linesman didn't give it, referee did. A couple of yards away. He reckoned the challenge was fair here from Kabul. I don't see an awful lot in that.
Well, it's given Reading a presentable opportunity to launch an early effort on goal. Shorey and Harper are the men standing over the ball. Looks as if Shorey with his left foot will look to whip it in. It is Shorey. Header away was by Chimbonda. Sonko trying to find Doyle. Good tackle by Lee. Kitson. It's deflected wide.
Oh, Doyle did ever so well to try and dig the ball out. It's a saving challenge from Lee here that stops him getting the shot away. Lee just tucking in and doing enough there. Kitson can't quite get it back across the face of goal. But just the start that Stevie Coppell would have wanted.
Yeah, Kitson looking to score for the second game running. He'll be one of the men to aim up from the corner by Shorey. Whistle had blown there as Robinson went up to punch.
So much going on in that 6-yard box. That was a tough spot for the referee. Robinson certainly got his fists on it.
Here's Tom Huddleston for Tottenham Hotspur. Lee. Huddleston again. Chip in towards Keane, header away by Ingemarson. This is Chimbonda. Berbatov, it's always going to cause problems. Early ball in, Away by Sonko. Berbatov again. Oh, teased it up. Just wonder whether that was deliberate or not.
I think the first ball was a better ball. Well defended at the front post by Sonko. Just closed that area down, made sure it wasn't going to come across the face of goal. But he did well to get the ball in at all, Berbatov.
Well, with a player of his quality, he wouldn't write off the fact that he would have an audacious attempt like that quite on purpose. Huddleston to deliver for Spurs. Chimbonda rising, getting the header in towards Robbie Keane. Couldn't turn. No penalty despite the screams from the fans. To be fair, the Tottenham players weren't appealing. Keane going down. Reading surviving. Here's Hunt. It's Stephen Hunt. It's a very, very positive run indeed. It was blocked by a posse of white shirts in the 18-yard box.
That's Kabul who did well to make the block, but at the other end, big penalty claim for Robbie Keane. Was he tugged? Chimbonda does well here to get inside. Shorey gets it back into the danger area. Keane did well to screen. Don't see anything in it. Hand was up immediately. May actually have cushioned the ball in his right arm as it came in.
No, I agree with that, Davey. I think if anything it was a handball by Keane. Didn't look to be any contact at all. Referee Keith Stroud is having a good game. Here's Kevin Doyle. He got in a tangle. Ginas forward to Lennon. This is Chimbonda. Now Malbranc. It's a well-timed tackle by Ingi Marson, but it's popped out to Lennon. He's a real handful. This is Jermaine Ginas. Chimbonda. Aaron Lennon onto his left foot. Straight at Hahnemann in the end.
Hit it too well. I have stated the Reading keeper, he's got a chance here. Certainly got his foot through the ball.
Nice to see a right-sided player not scared to have a crack with the other foot. Oh, here's a chance for Kitson, going to have to go alone, and once again he sees his effort deflected wide, this time by Pascal Chimbonda.
Brilliant cover from the fullback, absolutely brilliant. Two centre-backs are out the game here. It's a little deflection here. Kitson eventually gets it out of his feet, and Chimbonda did so well to get across. Great cover.
Chimbonda has been ever present in the Premier League this season, the only Spurs outfield player. Corner curled in, there's Ingi Marson! It's gone in somehow, and Reading have the lead!
Well, this time Robinson's entitled to be unhappy at how badly exposed he was left here. Decided he wasn't coming for this, Paul Robinson, and he's entitled to ask why. Ingi Marson gets a free header. I don't think he's even at full height. He doesn't have to get up too high off the ground. He's totally unmarked. In behind Huddleston. One thing in his mind, get it down into the ground. And with that kind of pace on it, Paul Robinson is not going to save that. Terrific corner again. Oh, what a turn-up.
Well, the Icelandic defender has scored his second goal in quick succession. He was on target in a 2-1 win over Sunderland a week ago. And it's 2-1 now to Reading, who, remember, haven't won an away game all season. Last time they tasted victory away from the Medeski was at the Reebok in Bolton in March. The Reading fans, a little pocket of them behind the goal into which Ivar Ingi Marson just deposited the ball, are celebrating wildly at the moment, and the Tottenham fans are shaking their heads. Here's Lee. It's certainly going to set up a very entertaining second half indeed. Goal coming just 8 minutes into it. Here's Chimbonda. Lennon. Neat turn by him. Berbatov with the dummy. Didn't quite reach Keane though, and Sonko increasingly influential at the heart of Reading's rear guard.
Unusual for Keane to be caught on his heels there. Not on the same wavelength as Berbatov, but a big test of Spurs' character now. The front end of the season, they didn't deal well with setbacks. We'll see how they handle this further. There's a bit more grit about them under the new manager.
Certainly will be a test. If Reading are looking for omens, it's Ivar Ingimarsson's 10th goal, or rather 11th goal for Reading, and they haven't lost when he's scored. Steve Copper will be hugely encouraged by this. This would be some way to break your away duck in the Premier League at White Hart Lane. Chipped by Murty, Kitson underneath it, Genus away. Volley is fired in by Cisse. Here's Kitson, real chance. Opted to go round Robinson, wrong option. Goalkeeper scrambled it clear. That was a glorious chance for Kitson. And here's Malbranc coming forward at the other end, blocked by Hunt.
I'm surprised Dave Kitson wanted a touch in there. Not very often you get 2 touches in that area.
Well, here's Doyle. Reading coming forward again. He's only got Kitson for support. Tried to lay it off for Hunt, but Lee's got there. Well, how much of a turning point could that prove to be?
Just wonder if he felt that Paul Robinson was just too close, too much in his face to lift it over him. Either way, he wasn't going to get that amount of time. Robinson, to be fair, was out very, very quickly the minute he realised Kitson was in behind, outspreading himself, and did well.
Yeah, he made it very, very difficult for Kitson to see any of the goal at all. Here's Genus, and now Keane. Lee. This is Keane again. Chimbonda. Dimitar Berbatov. He's done so much good work down that right-hand side, trying to squeeze it through to Aaron Lennon. Chimbonda picks it up again. Carville to Lennon. He's given it away. So too is Cisse though. Play on, says the referee. Here's Keane picking up the pass from Berbatov. Shot was blocked again by Sonko.
Sonko did well. Could have got tighter there, decided to give himself a yard. Paid off.
Berbatov with the faintest of touch. Handball, they scream. Nothing given. He was trying to play Lee Young-pyo in down the inside left channel.
Well, Keith Stroud, the referee, couldn't have been better placed to call that. It's the correct decision. Got a bit of work for Reading to do now. Spurs moving up a gear, not before time.
I think Keith Stroud's done well in only his 6th Premier League game as a referee. Not got too much wrong. A bit of activity on the Spurs bench as Huddleston fires the free kick in towards Chimbonda.
Just a little bit too deep. Gave him a nice angle to get the running jump. Nicky Shorey always struggling here because he's on the back foot. Chimbonda attacking it. Did just enough, Shorey, to make sure that the fullback wasn't going to get a clear header there.
Wande Ramos in conversation with Gustavo Poyet about when and where changes might be made. Here's Kitson. Back on in from him, 3-1. Not a bet on Tottenham getting back into the game, but at 2-1 there's every chance. Malbranc. Berbatov. This is Chimbonda. No way through at the moment for Spurs. Free kick for Chimbonda's challenge.
Keith throws wrong that time, but I took it cleanly. He's doing well to keep his mouth shut here, Chimbonda. Puts plenty of the ball.
Bobby Convey has got there. It's Convey. It's Kitson. Oh, his control let him down. That would have been a glorious chance, but he let it run away from him.
Great set-up play from Convey. Kitson's certainly onside. It's Chimbonda who plays him onside, and the first touch is costly again.
It's twice, though, worryingly for Tottenham, that Dave Kitson has found himself one-on-one with Paul Robinson. Fortunately, from the home side's point of view, on neither occasion has he been able to get the ball into the net. Sub coming on for Tottenham Hotspur. Jermaine Defoe for Ledley King, which is an interesting one. I don't know whether King is feeling that injury that he's been struggling with, but it looks to me as if he's a little bit puzzled to be taken off. But anyway, Defoe is on, who has made a habit recently of scoring as a substitute. It's going to be a real reshuffle at the back, Davey.
Oh, it's the three at the back. I mean, it looks as if they're going to go three at the back, try and push the two full-backs right forward.
Interesting to see how this works out. Oh, and that's a very poor ball by Carball. And Kitson's got Hunt making tracks. This is Stephen Hunt. Robinson saves, won't fall for Doyle.
Spurs just hanging on here at the moment, rocking badly.
Shorey, away by Carball, whose error led to that previous chance, and they can't get it clear this time either. There are howls of derision around White Hart Lane. That's another poor clearance. Cisse. Convey. It's Bobby Convey. Shot was blocked. Tottenham all over the place at the moment. Convey, Kitson.
You just wonder, the obvious question here, John, is will Reading live to regret the chances they've missed here? This is the save earlier on. Stephen Hunt was always going to come onto his left side here. He's much stronger on that side, opens the target up for himself beautifully, and it's a decent stop from Robinson.
Well, suddenly the speedy and lively Defoe is onto the ball, cuts it in, only half cleared. Berbatov! 2-2. Tottenham, having weathered a storm, have come right back at the other end and levelled it up with the Bulgarian second of the game.
Well, it might be undeserved, but Spurs are certainly right back in it now. Come through a torrid 5 minutes or so, and in their first counter-attack, they're back in it. Reading don't defend the front post well enough as the ball comes in from Defoe, and you can't give Berbatov that kind of time and space. One touch to steady it, and the second almost takes the back of the net away. Game on big time here now.
A scorcher from Dimitar Berbatov to take his season's tally to 9. And just as Reading were threatening to dismantle Tottenham, Juande Ramos brings Defoe on for King. The substitutes ball in causes confusion, and the Tottenham fans are singing again. I reckon 5 minutes ago they were more worried about 3-1 than 2-2.
Well, he certainly changed the system. It's three at the back, the two full-backs with Kabul in between.
Well, that's what he's paid for. That's why they brought him in. Make bold decisions, change things around when things aren't going well. Here's Huddleston. Now, will that equalising goal inspire Tottenham to greater things? Here's Malbranc. And now Lee. It's been a cracking second half. It's only 19 minutes old. This is Jermaine Genius. Lennon. Berbatov finding Chimbonda. Kabul into Malbranc. More urgency about Tottenham now, it seems.
Well, they've got the crowd back on side as well, which is important. A lot of anxiety in the ground prior to that equaliser.
And here's Defoe, whose dart set it up. Found Huddleston. Tried to pass it into the corner of the net, but it was too close to Marcus Hahnemann.
I think the set-up pass here maybe just a little bit too heavy here for Huddleston. Wanted it a bit shorter and doesn't really get his foot through it.
And we've reached the 20-minute mark in a pulsating second half. Ingi Marson heading Reading in front, with Dimitar Berbatov doubling up to make it 2-2. And you just get the feeling we haven't seen the last of the scoring today. Here's Malbranc. Headed away by Sonko. Out to Huddleston. Tries to find Defoe, but Comby was in the way. Kitson finding Convey. Doyle is up there too. Bobby Convey chipping it in towards Kevin Doyle. Couldn't quite turn after the initial control. And Chimbonda brings it forward. Wonderful end-to-end encounter at the moment at White Hart Lane. We were talking about the amount of goals that have been scored on this ground this season. It's now 45 in the Premier League. The sides with the two biggest aggregate goal tallies in games in the top flight this season. Robbie Keane in towards Jermaine Defoe.
Thought about the shot there, Robbie Keane. Was going to pull the trigger, then had a look up and saw Defoe, and the pass to Defoe was just slightly behind him. Robbie Keane was going to hit it here. Little delay, tried to find Defoe, but that's just too much of him.
He's got 3 in his last 5 games, Defoe. Very much a super sub this season for Spurs. Hasn't started many, but he is a man who, goes without saying, has a keen eye for goal. Robinson's under considerably less pressure than he had been just before Berbatov's equaliser. At fault for the first goal, unable to keep out the Inge Marson header. Kevin Prince-Boateng, the German under-21 international, is coming on to replace Aaron Lennon, Tottenham Hotspur's second substitution of the game. He's a midfield player.
Well, they've still got that bank of 4 in midfield. It's 3 at the back, and then the same shape in midfield, and an extra forward up top with Jermaine Defoe alongside Berbatov and Keane. And that shape is giving the Reading back 4 a lot more work to do here.
Midway point in the second half. 2-2. And Reading on the attack with Doyle. Hunt trying to find Doyle, which he has done. Blocked by Huddleston for a corner to Reading.
Well, this is where Spurs have struggled all afternoon, set pieces, and particularly from corners taken from that side. Paul Robinson just trying to get them organised in front of him.
The left-footed Nicky Shorey has gone across to apply some curl. Sonko, you can see there, Cisse, Kitson and Doyle. Hoping it'll land on their head. Referee just having a conversation in a hugely congested 6-yard box. Must be 10 or 11 players packed into that 6-yard area. Reading looking to put pressure on Robinson, his defenders. It's Shawry's corner, it's flicked by Kitson, it's in! 3-2 Reading! Extraordinary.
Well, again, it comes from a wonderful delivery from Stephen Hunt. And if the forward makes the run, if he gets a yard on his defender, all he's got to do with that kind of pace on the ball is help it onto the target. And he looked to be well outside the front post when he got the contact, Dave Kitson. And he just glances it, helps it onto the target. And even with Steve Malbronk on the far post, he can't stop that. There's too much pace on it. It's a wonderful set piece. Kitson just comes from the blind side of Berbatov, who's defending the front post. And it's a terrific striker's goal.
7th of the season for Kitson, 2nd in successive games in the capital. Supported Tottenham as a boy. He's not supporting them today. Well, here's Huddleston. Well, Tottenham have dug themselves back into the game once. Can they do it again with Genus? Flicked by Defoe. No problem for Hahnemann, despite the presence of Robbie Keane. Tottenham have now conceded 20 goals at home. Only Derby had a worse defensive record on their own patch than Tottenham. They lost 3-2 here, remember, against Birmingham City. One of only 2 defeats, though Juan de Ramos has suffered as Spurs coach, but Reading are determined to protect that lead. They brought on a defender, Ulysses de la Cruz, to replace Graham Murty, who just hobbled off. So it's actually a right back for a right back. The Ecuadorian on, but here's Jermaine Defoe finding Jermaine Genus. He's got support from Boateng, but the prod by Cisse takes it out of play. Corner kick. Genus' corner. Header away by Harper at the near post.
Well, Juan de Ramos will feel that's how they should have dealt with Reading's corner. Well defended there.
Genus to try again, deeper one this time. Chimbonda's there. Berbatov's there too! Hat-trick! And an equaliser for Tottenham! Dimitar Berbatov!
Great body strength, just stands his ground. The ball was in the air a long time. But he just backs into Sonko here, just stands his ground. So you're not getting a sniff of that. And he holds Sonko off. Oh, what a finish with his back to goal. Just gets himself half-turned. And one touch is enough. Extraordinary finish. Oh, what a remarkable game we have here now.
3-3 at White Hart Lane. Dimitar Berbatov with all 3 for Tottenham. They'll need another if they're to get the result which they want. It's been a stupendous game. Here's Lee. Huddleston just bounced off Harper's legs and was somehow scrambled away by Reading. Well, Tottenham are involved in a 6-goal match on Boxing Day when it went rather more in their favour, 5-1. This time the 6 have been shared. The reason the game has stopped is that Dave Kitson is nursing an injury, just talking to Keith Stroud there, but he should be okay, the man who put Reading 3-2 up with a header, but Berbatov's 3rd goal has levelled it up again. Now here's Hunt. Kitson's gone off. And it's a great chance for Kitson again. Robinson's come. Dave Kitson! It's 4-3 to Reading. It is absolutely sensational. Tottenham keep dragging themselves back, and Reading keep putting themselves back in front. Kitson's got 2. It's an extraordinary game.
Once again, it's Stephen Hunt who's the architect. Wonderful run there. Just driving at Lee. He needs a runner. And Kitson makes that diagonal into the inside left channel. The weight of the ball is terrific. And that time he does wait, and Robinson going down, and just dinks it over the top. And what a good slide roll pass here from Stephen Hunt. Still had a bit of work to do, Kitson. And what a good job he made of the finish. And Reading hitting on the counter-attack for fun here. Can they hold the lead again?
Well, it's been an absolute seesaw second half. Berbatov, who's got a hat-trick already, is he to end up on the losing side? The winning ball wouldn't be much consolation if that were the case. Well, Reading were involved in a 7-4, remember, early in the season against Portsmouth. But here's Tottenham. Malbranc! 4-4! You need a calculator rather than a notepad. Steve Malbranc getting Tottenham back level for the 3rd time.
Well, the defending might not be top class, but the finishing certainly has been this afternoon. Does well to get it back onto his right side here, Steve Malbranc. Gets his body open and just wraps the inside of his right foot around this. Passes it into the net. Hanneman badly exposed, but he still had an awful lot of work to do here, Malbranc.
Terrific goal by the Frenchman. It's his first goal in 17 Premier League games. Tottenham have already had a 4-4, remember, at this ground this season against Aston Villa. Well, you simply cannot imagine what is going to happen next in what has been an incredible game of football. We were saying at the beginning that the two sides have produced the most aggregate goals. Tottenham 67 before this game, Reading 61. Even then I don't think anyone expected 4-4, and there's still 14 minutes to go. Here's Boateng. Goals have just been raining in this second half. Remember, it was 1 each at the interval. We've had 6 in the opening half hour of the second half, an average of 1 every 5 minutes. Here's Chimbonda, and now Genus. Boateng. It's a good run by him. Huddleston in space, shoot they cry, he disguises it. Penalty kick!
Yeah, he's given it.
The drama just goes on and on and on. Keane brought down. Spurs have the chance for 5-4.
That's a lovely disguised pass here from Huddleston. Sonko just caught on the wrong side, can't make a clean challenge here, and he certainly took Robbie Keane. I don't think that's a difficult decision here for Keith Stroud. Let's have a look at his angle.
Well, Robbie Keane scored penalties in both games against Reading last season, one which they won and one which they lost. This for 5-4. Saved by Hardiman, put in by Defoe. It is 5-4 to Spurs. What a way to end the year.
Well, Hanneman just trying to make the point. Why were there so many white jerseys in first? Is he looking for encroachment? Either way, the reaction of the boys in white shirts was the better, the quicker. And Robbie Keane gets off the hook. Well, he's in well early, Defoe. Well early. He's at least 2 yards inside the box when Robbie Keane strikes that. And that may have been the point that Hanneman was making to the far side assistant. Well, it's a poor decision.
Jermaine Defoe's 7th goal of the season, only his 3rd in the Premier League. I think the penalty kick is to be Robbie Keane's last touch of the match. He will make way. 9 goals at White Hart Lane. We thought he would have got the 9th, but it was Defoe, after Hahnemann had parried Keane's penalty kick. Hugs from Juan de Ramos and Gustavo Poyet. I know that Juan de Ramos is keen to bring winning ways back to White Hart Lane, but I'm not sure how many games like this his nerves will take.
Just wonder what Stevie Coppell will make of the decision though, John. Only 2 things they've really got to watch there, the assistant and the referee. The goalkeeper's positioning as the ball is struck, and the other one is for encroachment. And Jermaine Defoe is at least 2 yards inside the Reading penalty area when the ball is struck. It's a poor decision.
It's a controversial goal. It was a controversial penalty with which Tottenham Hotspur beat Reading last season in a rather quieter game, 1-0. Over the top towards Defoe again. Hahnemann has come. It's the first time Tottenham have led in the game since they went 1-0 up through Dimitar Berbatov after 6 minutes. As if all the goals weren't enough. Kevin Dillon, the Reading assistant boss, has been sent to the stand for disputing that incident with the penalty. Here's Malbranc. Surely, if Tottenham were to get a 6th, it might put the game to bed finally. Huddleston in towards Boateng, but headed away. Well, Reading will be absolutely heartbroken if they don't get anything out of this game. They scored 4 at Portsmouth and lost. Looks like they could, for the 2nd time in the season, manage 4 goals and not get a single point. 10 minutes to go at White Hart Lane in what's been one of the games of the season. And we've had some good ones in this campaign. Chelsea, Aston Villa, not least, of course, on Boxing Day. That produced 8. This one's gone 1 better. Apparently Kevin Dillon's now twice been banished from the dugout. He came back down after being sent upstairs and has been told to return from whence he came. Tottenham Hotspur voices ringing around White Hart Lane. They got 5 against Fulham on Boxing Day. They've got 5 again today. But while that was a canter, this one has been really, really hard work.
Going back to back 4, it's a 4-4-2 again for Ramos now. Chimbonda in beside Kabul as centre-back, Tainio right back.
Tainio on as a substitute, gets it back to Kabul. Berbatov, he scored 3 already! Make that 4! Surely Tottenham have won this game now! Dimitar Berbatov gets his 4th goal of the game. Tottenham Hotspur 6, Reading 4. Incredible entertainment, although not for him.
Well, I think Reading were looking for offside. Berbatov looked on to me. Defoe on the far side, is it? Well, Berbatov, I think, managed to get himself back level. He's certainly onside. He just out-muscles Ingemarson. Did Hahnemann get right his glove to it? I don't know. Either way, there was too much power in it. What a finish. Did get his left hand up to Hahnemann, but he can let it drop to a beautiful height, Berbatov, and then put his foot right through it. One-man demolition here for Spurs today, and that is the man responsible.
It's been a wonderful performance of the striking arts by Dimitar Berbatov as Bobby Convey comes off for Reading. That goal came with 7 minutes to go. Remember, it was 7-4 Portsmouth Reading at Fratton Park. Most goals ever in a Premier League game. This is now the 2nd ever highest tally Tottenham get a 7th. Reading will probably imagine that they're going to be waking up, rubbing their eyes and saying it was all a dream, but it's not. It's a harsh reality at the moment for the visitors, who for 3 times in the second half led, 3 times believed their first away win might come. Here's Defoe for Spurs. There just seems to be a goal with every attack this half. Jermaine Defoe's got Boateng, but he'll go it alone. Hahnemann parries, and it's knocked away by Ingimarsson.
That's a good save. Ball took a big dip right in front of Hahnemann. Had the pass on to his right here, had Boateng to his right. But only one thing in his mind here, Jermaine Defoe gets foot through it. Good save.
Mickey Shorey, incidentally, was booked for disputing the penalty from which Jermaine Defoe made it 5-4. It looks as if Reading, for the second time this season, will score 4 goals on an away ground and return empty-handed. You couldn't make it up. Here's Boateng. Tainho.
Well, this will go straight into the box. I'd be surprised if they try and change the angle here. Centre backs have gone up.
Taken by Harper. Kitson's on a hat-trick as well. Plays the ball in. It's only half cleared. Huge cheer as the throw-in is given Tottenham's way. It's the first time, and I'm almost out of breath, David, that we've had any kind of lull in the second half. It really is.
Well, we said at half-time that the game had lost its way.
Yeah.
We certainly didn't expect this. It's been fabulous stuff. I'm not convinced that Wandy Ramos and Stevie Coffey would agree, given some of the defending, but it's been great entertainment.
Absolutely sensational, and there have been some great games. They were talking about Chelsea Villa being game of the season. Perhaps had more in terms of incident with the sendings off and what have you, but we've had 10 goals at White Hart Lane. Incredible way to end 2007. The Premier League has never lost its capacity to entertain. Here's Boateng. Defoe wants it played in. It's Kevin Prince Boateng finding Jermaine Defoe. Back to Huddleston. Now Genus.
This is where Spurs have got to be sensible. No real need for them to go forward as quickly as they were. It's all about holding the ball now. Can be far more measured about it.
It's a nice ball by Tainho for Genus. Tottenham don't appear to have settled for 6 as Ulysses de la Cruz. You must be wondering what on earth has happened since he came on as a substitute. What he's done is watch goals whizzing in behind him. Here's Malbranc. Chimbonda, and now Genus. Out to Tainho. Not sure there have been too many Premier League games in history with 8 goals in one half either, which this one has had. Here's Kitson. Trying to find Harper. And I think Reading know now that it's all over for them, despite their not inconsiderable efforts to win the game. Credit to them.
What Spurs don't want to do now is offer them any encouragement anyway back into the game by losing one now.
Now Huddleston has knocked it into the space ahead of Jermaine Defoe. Genus and Berbatov making forward strides. Genus, or rather Boateng, trying to tease it through, didn't come off. Reading have a free kick. Ginas with the touch back. Huddlestone's miskicked. Long, finding Hunt. It's a strange kind of...
That's a miskick, John. Ball. Just trying to knock in with the outside of his left foot. Didn't quite get it.
Doyle trying to cross it in from the right-hand side. We're in the final minute of this extraordinary game. Dimitar Berbatov, I venture to suggest, might nick the Man of the Match award. The first player this season to score 4 goals in a Premier League game. But it's not just been about him. It's been a pulsating encounter on the final weekend of the year. I can't remember a better half than the second half we have seen. It's just been astonishing. Tainio to Berbatov. The ball at his feet, he will take home. Doubtless it'll be signed by all his colleagues. But if you just detach yourself from all the oohs and ahs and thrills and spills and excitement and drama, the fact is that the Tottenham revival under Juan de Ramos, albeit in extraordinary circumstances, continues apace. This will be only 2 defeats in 14 under Ramos. But here's Hunt for Reading. Whistle's blown though. Tottenham have Villa away next, and then of course, well, in all the excitement you almost forget that these two teams meet again in the FA Cup. You dread to think what will happen there. 10 goals today. I think Reading would settle for a 1-0 when they meet in the third round on January the 5th. Then of course Tottenham have the first leg of their Carling Cup semi-final clash with arch-rivals Arsenal. Reading will face Portsmouth, the team who they lost to 7-4 on New Year's Day at the Medeski.
Well, they've certainly proved today, Spurs, that they're durable, John, that's one thing. They've had their character brought into question big time by this Reading side, and they've come up with all the answers. That wasn't always the case with this side earlier on in the season.
We've had 1.5 of the 4 minutes that are being added on at the end of this game. You wouldn't bet against another goal. Here's Shane Long for Reading. Infield to Kitson. Tainio, though, just pushes it across to Lee. Huddlestone and Ginas. They're just playing the game out now, Spurs. Don't imagine the team talk from Juan de Ramos said, well, we'll get it to 6-4 and then just knock it around a bit. Here's Chimbonda. Ginas is in space here, and here's Berbatov. Surely he's not going to get a 5th. No, he's not, while Mickey Shorey's in the way. Only 2 players, incidentally, have ever scored 5 goals in the Premier League. Andy Cole for Manchester United against Ipswich in a 9-0, and Alan Shearer against Sheffield Wednesday in an 8-1. So not sure Berbatov has actually got time. He might have. We're up to the 3rd minute of stoppage time, and Shane Long is being told just to get out of the way.
Well, just had a real off-the-ball barge there at Kabul. Just wonder whether Keith Stroud saw it. Yeah, he must have seen he's going to produce a yellow, and he can have no complaints, Shane Long. Kabul just trying to block him off from getting at Paul Robinson. All down to frustration. Probably just can't believe that they've let this game slip.
Well, let's give credit to the referee. I think he's had a really good game. It's been a potentially difficult one with so much going on, but he's done well. Here's Hunt for Reading, still going. It's Stephen Hunt. Doyle foiled by Tainio. Ball whacked away by Kabul. Any minute now, this astonishing final fixture of Tottenham and Reading's 2007 will come to an end. Lee away, his Huddleston. Now, Defoe unable to get there ahead of Shonko, although it's a heavy ball back to Hahnemann. Twinkle toes from the big American goalkeeper. Header on by Cisse. Kabul away. One of the most astonishing games ever in the Premier League comes to an end. Dimitar Berbatov appropriately is cradling the ball. His 4 goals, the highlight of an astonishing 6-4 win for Tottenham Hotspur. 8 of the goals came in the second half as the one-day Ramos renaissance continues at Tottenham. You have to feel sorry for Reading. Dave Kitson got 2 of their goals as 3 times they led in the second half. What a way to bow out of 2007 as Dimitar Berbatov takes the applause and takes the ball home. It's been an amazing game of football, and it's finished top.